Hello and welcome to Jumpers Junction. I'm John. In today's video, we're going to be talking about track and field jumping shoes or jumping spikes. What is the purpose of track spikes? Can it make you faster or jump further? And then also the difference between the types of shoes that are specifically designed for the 4 jumping events in track and field: long jump, triple jump, high jump, and pole vault. Can you use a long jump shoe for, say, high jump? And what makes a jumping shoe different than, say, a sprint spike? Let's talk about those, get into the details, and then hopefully provide you some answers so that you're prepared for the track season. Good luck. So why do we want track spikes or track shoes? Well, we want a shoe that's lightweight and also provides grip or added traction. So typically we'll have a shoe that has little spike pins on the bottom, and they basically dig into the track surface, providing added friction and grip so that when you push down, you can push off and propel yourself forward. Nowadays, we've got the footwear arms race, and we're talking about super spikes. So what do we want to look for in a spike? Well, we want a shoe that's lightweight. That's super key. We don't want to spend a lot of energy. Second off, we want a compliant and resilient foam in the bottom portion of that shoe, which is called the sole. Now, when we talk about compliant versus stiffness, I'm referring to, say you want to jump on a trampoline versus jumping on the concrete. Well, the trampoline is going to deform when you jump. That's compliant. Versus stiffness is all about the resistance to deformation. So concrete isn't going to deform, so it's going to be stiff. Now, we talk about resilient foam means it's more responsive, so it'll bounce back. We think about a memory foam bed that you might lay on. Well, if you push down that memory foam, it takes a long time before it kind of comes back to even. Versus a resilient foam, you can push on it and it bounces right back. It kind of gives you that added spring. Basically, we're providing cushioning without sacrificing weight or dissipating a lot of energy. So the soles don't really need to be super thick, but it can still provide a high energy return. We also want to look for a stiff spike plate. Having a stiffer sole helps keep the metatarsal phalange joint, or the MTP joint, in dorsiflexion with less energy. And you can read more about that, but basically allows you to use less energy when running. And finally, we want to talk about the geometry of the track spike. So when we refer to geometry, I'm talking about the rocker. Often spike plates will have a curved spike plate, which is called the forefoot rocker. A rocker can improve the midfoot to toe off transition, or what's called the ride. And I'll link to a published paper in the description below, so you can check that out if you want more information about the benefits of a track spike on your performance. Alright, so we kind of know what to look for in a track spike. So now, what makes a jumping spike different than, say, running barefoot or running with a sprinting spike? So we have 4 different categories of jumping events in track and field. We've got the long jump, the triple jump, the pole vault, and the high jump. The long jump, triple jump, and pole vault all have similar mechanics as far as you're running down a runway on your approach, and then you hit a takeoff board and you jump, right? So the mechanics are similar as far as sprinting. You're running kind of on the balls of your foot, which we call the forefoot, and then we hit a takeoff board, typically flat-footed, and then jump. Now with the high jump, you're not running as far and you're not running nearly as fast. You're also running on a curve, and then at takeoff, when you plant your foot, you land heel first. So what might impact the shoe design? Well, in the long jump, you're running down your approach, and your speed is going to be similar to that of, say, the 100-meter dash. So you want a shoe that's going to resemble those sprint dynamics. So what are you looking for in a long jump shoe? You want a strong, stiff spike plate with a rocker to help you get off that midfoot to toe transition. You want to have quick ground contacts. Also, you're going to be landing on the balls of your feet, so you're going to have a little bit of an extra arch. It's not going to be quite as flat-footed, but you are landing flat-footed takeoff, so you want a shoe that's going to have a little bit of extra cushion, some padding, so that your heel and midfoot aren't going to have such an impact. Additionally, you're going to want some support. You want it to be snug, have a good heel cup, and also technology in there that's going to not let it slide around when you do make ground contact. Now with triple jump, again, you're running down a runway, but now you have 3 consecutive jumps before you land in the pit. So you're going to have to sacrifice a little bit of your speed for control and stability, because you're not going to be running quite as fast in a triple jump as you would in a long jump. So when you hit the takeoff board, you need to carry that momentum through those 3 jumps. So what do you want? You're going to be landing flat-footed each time through those 3 consecutive jumps. So you want a shoe that's going to have cushioning and support. That is absolutely critical. Stability. You want a shoe that's going to have a little bit thicker cushioning and padding through the midfoot as well as in the heel. You're going to want a shoe that's also going to be a lot more flat in its design, good heel support, but also a shoe that's going to be tight and snug. Stability is key with triple jump. You don't want it to be shifting around or landing. You don't want to be rolling your ankle. You want it to stay snug so you can do it as little amount of energy as possible when you jump. Now we talk about the pole vault. Pole vault's going to be very similar to long or triple. Really the only difference in pole vault is you want a shoe that's going to have a really good stability and fit in the shoe. It wants to be comfortable, and typically what you see is a rear strap on the back to really keep that heel in place, because when you go to take off, typically in pole vault, the ground contact's a little bit longer, so you really don't want it to shift around or slide any. Now with high jump, this is the biggest difference in shoe design for the others. You're no longer running down a runway. Now you've got your approach area, and typically you're going to be landing flat-footed since you're not in full sprint speed. And in addition to landing flat-footed, you're running on a curve. So you want some shoe that's going to provide support so that you're not slipping out of your shoe. You want a shoe that's also going to have cushioning because you're landing flat-footed, so you want midfoot as well as heel cushioning. Also, most importantly, in your shoe design, you absolutely want heel spikes on your takeoff foot. So when you come into plant, you're planting heel first. So depending on track conditions or weather conditions, if you don't have spikes in that heel, you likely could slip off, especially, most athletes do the Fosbury flop, so you're going over backwards. So if you're landing heel first, you don't want to be slipping, so you want spikes on that heel on the takeoff foot. Okay, so we've got 4 different shoes, essentially. The long jump shoe, the triple jump shoe, the high jump shoe, and the pole vault shoe. So if you don't want to buy a shoe for each individual event, but you do multiple jumping events, here's how you can do it. A long jump shoe you could use for triple or pole vault, but it'd be better if you used a triple jump shoe for both long jump and pole vault. Now pole vault you can use either a long jump shoe or a triple jump shoe, but a long jump shoe you can also do for triple jump and pole vault. But if you're going to do both long and triple jump, I would get a triple jump shoe. A triple jump shoe works best for both long and triple because the long jump shoe typically has more of an arch, it's not quite as flat-footed, and it doesn't have quite as much padding. Now high jump, you only want to buy a high jump shoe. You don't want to be jumping in a middle distance shoe. You don't want to be jumping in any kind of other shoes because you don't have a heel spike, and that is absolutely critical. Now if you're going to purchase a high jump shoe, some manufacturers actually specify right or left because they don't always put spikes on both sides of the shoe. So you may need to specify, I jump off my right leg, because then they'll put the spikes on that side. Versus some shoes, you'll have the pinholes on both sides, and you can just put spikes on your takeoff plant, and you can put studs in the non-takeoff leg. Okay, so my closing remarks are this. If you're confident, you tend to be more relaxed, and if you're relaxed, you tend to run faster and jump further. So sometimes there's a psychological effect of if you get a new spike or shoe, typically you might perform better if just you feel like you're going to perform better. Sometimes just having a new shoe that you think looks good and it feels good might have the psychological impact to make you perform better. If you have any questions about shoes or track and field or the jumps in general, feel free to leave the question in the comment section below. I'll check those out and hopefully get you an answer for those. Also, hopefully this helps answer some of the questions you have associated with jumping shoes. I'm going to have a whole video series that'll cover the top shoes of 2023 for long jump, triple jump, high jump, pole vault. So check that out. I'll have a link in the little card above. So hopefully this helps, and you'll have a good one.